Good. Online, can you able to see the screen? Yes. Okay. Everyone, focus. So in the last class, we just discussed different, you know, different hooks. We were clear with use state, use effect, and the extension of use effect, which is called use layout effect. We have something called use context, which is used to take the context API, works like context consumer. And we have something for use ref, which will deal with DOM values. Anything DOM related ones used ref. And we have something called use navigate and use params. Use navigate used to go from one place to another place in the navigations. Use params used to get the dynamic values parameters in the URL. And then yesterday, what we discussed mainly is use memo and the React.memo, right? Use memo and the React.memo are the important ones which we discussed yesterday. Let's focus on them one more time and then we'll move into use callback and then we'll start our project. Okay. Now, let's go here. Let's see what I did from starting onwards. The mainly what here use memo works. Now here it is just printing. It is just taking an input element, and after taking the input element here, where did I call child? Is this the same thing? Good. Movies. Why this one is there? Okay. I think I opened the wrong one. Yeah, this is the one. Good. Now see here, we did some function called factorial. We did one function called factorial. What happened here is three cases will be there, three different ones which you have to remember. First thing, factorial will get called, factorial will get called on every counter. Okay. Now, for example, I gave 5, sir. Again, I gave 5. Again, the factorial will be called, right? Every time when I click on the button, what I'm doing it here is, see, simple. Simple. Here I put one button. If I click on the button, set 2 will become incremented by 2. Okay. Now, where is the factorial button? Click factorial. See, whenever I click on this, it is taking the input element and it is making it as set count 2. So count 2 value will become updated. Count 2 value will become updated, whatever you put it in input. When, when you click on the button, when you click on the button, imagine in that input box 5 is there. If I click on this button, now immediately some count 2 value will become 5. That is first time. First time, whenever count to value will become 5, automatically your whole component will render. That is a basic logic, right or not? Component renders, sir. Whenever the component re-render, automatically it will call this particular function here because here you gave it this in the normally this particular function. Every time factorial 5, 120. If I ask you again factorial 5, you should say 120 without calculating. So for that thing, we will put it in use memo. Use memo is used for expensive calculations. So what will happen here? If I did not put it in use memo, if I just write it here, factorial. Imagine I put factorial in some kind of use effect or something. Okay. Then what will happen? On every render it will go. But here, go here, right click, console. Now see here, give 5 and click on this. Now factorial function called once, right? Right or not? Now change it to 51. It will be called again. No worries. But what if I gave the same 51 without changing it, clicking? Will it be called? Will it be called, sir? No, because that is what the use memo will do. Use memo will do. But worst point is this, sir. See, all this use memo, react.memo or use callback, these all are used for performance. Okay. So our understand our project in, I will write it in paint. Your project contain one function named factorial. Factorial. And there is another child component is also here, right? And an input, a button. So what this button will do, state update it will do. So sir, whenever you click on this button, whole component will get re-render. Whenever the component is getting re-render, automatically this factorial function will be re-rendered and this child component also will be re-rendered. Right or not? Sir, if a parent component state is changed, automatically child components will get re-render. But is the child component changed anything? No, right? So even though child component is not having any change, but still it is re-rendering. So unnecessarily it will be problem, right? Imagine here in your child component here it is simple child component. What if my child component is having it like some kind of 10 or 20 functions? All will get re-render again, right? If my child component is having again API calls, 2, 3 API calls, all will come again, right or not? So unnecessarily load will be increased, unnecessarily the performance will be reduced. If you remove this memo, actually, memo, now go here. So every time something happened, see in the parent, I'm just doing some state changes. Whenever some changes happen in parent, child is also getting called. Whatever happen in parent, child is getting called still. Okay. That is because when the parent component renders, automatically child component will render. Even though in child component nothing changed. Child component will have just something called child called, simple. But still it is getting called. And that point I want to stop it. To stop it, we will put something called higher order function. What is mean by, sorry, higher order component? What is it mean by higher order component, sir? Higher order component will take one component and will change something based on the props and will return a new component. Will return a new component. Now, what the higher component is memo. Some people will write it directly like this: react dot memo. Okay. If they are not importing it, they will write it. Or if they already imported it, they can directly write react memo. Okay. It's up to them, whatever they used. Direct memo or react.memo. Okay. Because I imported already memo from React, so I'm using just memo. So this memo is taking one component. What is that? Child component it is taking. What is that? Child component. Now child component it will take, and if the props are changed, then the child component will be called. If the props are not changed, child component will never get called. Now go here, see child component. For the child component, where is the child component here? Huh. For child component, I'm passing two things, name and count. Name and count. Name is a static value. Count is a dynamic value. Now go here. Now see this. Now here, if I change the count, child will be called. But if I change the count to, now state is changing. But is the child is calling? No. Only if the properties what it is receiving, only if the properties what the component is receiving, if they changed, then the component will be called again. Else, the component will never be rendered if they keep it inside the react.memo. Memo is used to remember the component. Use memo is used to remember the value. Okay? Use memo is used to remember the value. There is one more thing, use callback, which is used to remember the function, callback function. Okay? Let's do the same thing. Use callback. Here actually both will do same thing, but in the higher applications they are different. Let me write it here. Use callback. Use callback is used to remember the callback function, callback function. It is, it will trigger only if inputs of the function are changed, like dependencies are changed, dependencies updated. Only in these cases it will be changed, else it will never be changed, sir. Go here. Now here you can write it. You can keep this whole factorial function inside a use callback. Use callback. And here you can keep this whole function and comma a dependency. So see, use callback is will return a memorized version of the callback function that only changes if one of the inputs are changed. That's what we discussed just now. Okay, so what is this means? Sir, interesting point is this. Whenever your component renders, every time your component render, it will create its own version of the factorial. Let me tell you what I'm meaning it. Now, see, for example, there is one method named const display console.log hi. So this is a simple method which is named display, which is printing hi, right or not? Imagine my component rendered one time. See, go here. First time, it will create the display method, but will it call the display method? Will it call the display method? No. Only the problem is if I increment one more time, then what is this? State value changes. State value changes means automatically component will get re-render. Component will get re-render. Sir, when component re-renders, you know what the components will do? React, the problem is React when the component re-render, it will actually take it each one new copy. Usually only whatever changed is showing on the screen, but it will make it copy of everything. That's the problem here. See again what it will do. Earlier we have when we first load the file, we have one display, na? Right or not? But whenever your component re-render, again it will create another display. The same display it will create again. Whenever your component re-renders, every time it will create a new version of the display, even though the display is same. You got my point? So a function will get multiple versions. It's like new version on every re-render, sir. And I don't want it. Not only function, like we have seen child component re-render, we have seen a normal value will get re-rendered, but same way function also re-renders. We don't want that. So what you'll do, you will keep any function which you don't want re-renders. Okay. Why multiple versions? See, because React cannot see the previous things. This is the problem. How the React will think this? This is how the React thinks. Open it. Now see, whenever it is re-rendering, you know what we will think? We will think it like, yes, it is getting re-rendered. So only the value it is changing it here. So earlier it is 1, now it is placing it as 2. No. What it will think? Again, it will create this. Immediately what it will do, whenever it is re-rendering, it is just delete all and then again create it. Delete it and again create it. Like that, the same things it will do on every re-render. You got my point? Because on every re-render, it will execute your code, which is not good for performance wise. Right or not? Is it clear? So we don't want that kind of things. To make it stop that kind of things, you will give the callback function here. You will give the callback function here. Use callback here. Use callback. I gave it the whole thing inside the use callback, sir. And use callback will take it one callback and the dependencies. Here, if the dependencies are changed, you are saying it only if the dependencies are changed, then only create a new version. For remaining things, don't create any new version. If the dependencies are empty, it will not create it at all, new versions. Okay. Is it clear, ma? Now, here actually, inside the callback, the second one dependencies, you will give something called inputs. Okay. Based on the inputs, you will do it. Now here callback. Now here 5. If it is same, it's not giving now. Go here. Where did I did the mistake? Use memo count to remove it. 5. Use callback factorial comma uh, dependencies count to. Why it is getting infinite loop? 5. Input value is count 2. This is correct only. Control X. Somewhere the mistake happened. This is use memo. So, but basically, use callback is used on between the renders, between two renders to remember a function. Okay. You can even use callback can be used as use memo. Callback can be used as, React.memo also. Like every time a particular function renders, okay, you want to stop it. Like instead of using React.memo, you want to stop it. You don't want to use React.memo. You want to use it only use callback. It will work for it. Okay, but each one have specific purpose. When people ask you the difference, just remember the difference. The difference is use memo is for one expensive calculation, one value. It will remember the value based on the input. And React.memo will remember the component based on prop. Use callback will remember the function based on the values, inputs. Okay. Each one have their own purpose, sir. You can use it however you like it. The next ones. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear till now? Yeah. Let's go with the next one. So today we are going to do something called CRUD application. We are going to start CRUD. Again, use callback. If you go here, if you write it here, use callback. Now, sir, listen, we have something called use reducer, use imperative handle. These two things we'll discuss it later. After the CRUD, we will do something called forward ref. Use imperative handle we will discuss with forward ref. We need to discuss these things. And use reducer we will discuss with something called redux. In the next week, we will do reducer and we will deal with that. Okay. Yeah. So one more time, what is use callback? Sir, use callback will keep one function, one callback function. Use callback will take it one callback function and will keep it inside it. Okay, with some dependencies. What is the use is if you keep it use callback with any dependencies, like for example, if the count 2 is the dependency. Okay. Now, so the between renderings, I don't want the function to create a new instance. I function to create a new instance for this factorial. I don't want it to call. I want it to memorize this particular one. In that cases, you will use something called use callback, sir. Use callback will memorize the callback function based on its input and will not create it new thing. What is the use memo and use callback difference is, use memo if you use, it will create the function, but it will not call it. It will not call the any other function. So React will automatically create it. See, now if you take this example, this is how it will happen. For example, if I use memo, only use memo, imagine. So what will happen? If I make a state change, the moment I state changes, component re-renders. Whenever a component re-renders, what will happen? Any particular value, any particular function will get again created a new instance, right? It will create for factorial also new instance, but use memo remembers this factorial value, whatever the value comes from the factorial. If I give 5, 120 will come, sir. If I give 10 or something will come, sir. That's what it will remember. But because it is remembering, it will not call this. Use memo, what it will do? Use memo will, I know 5 means something will happen, so I don't need to calculate. I will directly give the result. It will create it, but it will not call it because it already knows the result. But if you use callback, it will not even create it. If you use callback, it will not create it. It will not make a new instance. So use callback will remember the function. So how what the use callback will do? Use callback will, okay, create this function for something 5. For 5. Okay, next time also this guy is giving 5 only. So I don't need to create it. Okay. Let's not create it this time. Simple. You got my point? So one is to remember the function, one is to remember the value, one is remember the component. 3 different memories are there. And all these are optional. These 3 are used to increase the performance of your application. When we go on more and more bigger applications, where you are going to do more and more practical bigger applications, in that cases you will get it. Okay. Is it clear, sir? Yeah. Let's do the next one. Okay. I hope everyone clear. Okay. And these two are things still, all hooks are not completed. These two are there. These things will be discussed. One is with the forward ref, another one is with the Redux. We will discuss these things. Okay. These are kind of advanced ones. Okay. Till now, any doubts, sir? Now, let's deal and let's do a nice and new one. This one I wanted everyone to do. Understand? CRUD operations. Any application, sir, when you are learning it, any technology, first thing you need to know how to do CRUD operations. CRUD operations will make you understand nicely about, uh, you know, uh, APIs, how you can deal APIs. You will understand it better. npm create with @latest project name CRUD React JavaScript cd CRUD npm install. Sir, what is it mean by CRUD? Did you guys ever see the CRUD applications? CRUD applications deals with 4 things, sir. CRUD applications means 4 things. Create, Read, read, update, delete. CRUD, CRUD, create, read, update, delete. Okay. Now let's take it here in your application. Imagine books are there. Okay. Or movies are there. Movies are there. A movie name, a movie image, a movie title, something is there. You can take from an API all the movies, whatever available in the API. That is first thing. Second thing, if you want to delete, you can delete anything from the API. That means not only in your memory. If you delete it here, automatically it will delete in the database also. Right or not? Basically, CRUD is that. You can delete it. Each one you can delete. Okay. Or you can edit. If you click on this, you can change the movie name or something. Or there is a plus button here. You can create a new movie. A form will come and you will fill the form and your new movie will come. Is it clear, sir? This is what the operations you will do every day in your particular applications. Go to any applications, like for example, Swiggy, Zomatos and all. You will create addresses. A new address can be created. All the addresses you previously visited will be there. You can delete any address you want or you can update any address you want. Right or not? Right? So I want to manage all the employees or I want to manage all the students. It's like the employee management system or student management system. If you want to make it any systems, basic operations which you need to know is CRUD. Any doubts, sir? Any doubts? No. Now, sir, for CRUD, actually, you need backend also, na? We will create the backend today. Okay. It's not like we will create the actual backend. We will create a dummy backend. I will show you how to do that. For CRUD applications, you can create a dummy backend. Now, see here, this one, front end and backend. How will I create it and connect it? I will show you. Sir, front end and back end are connected by API. What is connected by API? Till now, you are using APIs like JSON placeholder or something, a fake store products or something, which are black box. That means someone else created and you are using it. Today, you are only creating the API. You are only making your own data. Okay. This is not the actual procedure of creating the API in the Node.js. Anyway, in the future classes, one class I will take it for Node.js also, where I will just show you a dummy, simple creation of API, not a bigger one, simple creation. But today, what we are going to do is kind of dummy APIs, how you will create it on your own. Okay. Now, clear. Now, where is this project? CRUD. Let's go here. CD. In React only, CD, CRUD, or somewhere else, CD projects. Inside the projects I am creating, CD backend. Oh, I did not create backend, na? MKDIR backend. Sir, for simple understanding, let me tell you, your front end will be somewhere else, your backend will be somewhere else. They are not related. They both will not be in the same place. My backend, my front end is in the CRUD. My backend is in the backend folder. I will write it. Okay. Till now, backend folder is empty. Any doubts, sir? Clear? Now, let me start it here. I am taking two terminals, sir. Okay. If you want to take it, you can even take it. Some people will feel difficulty to switch back to between two terminals. You can actually go with split terminal also. if you feel it difficulty. So one way you can have it the front end and another way you can have the back end. Okay. Any doubts, ma? CRUD is front end and this is back end. Now, npm install. Sir, there is one package to give the dummy server that is called JSON server. What is that called? JSON server. So how do you do that? npm install dash g. G means global. G means global. JSON server. And okay. npm install. Uh, huh. npm install dash g JSON server. Let's install it. npm install dash g JSON server. Let's install it. Any doubts, Sima? Any doubts, sir? No. Now, let's go here. Let's create it a dummy folder, dummy file named db.json. db.json. db.json is used for the database, sir. db.json is used for database. Sir, I'm gonna create a database here. The database is identical to MongoDB database. Okay. For MongoDB, as you guys don't know MongoDB, I'm telling you, MongoDB, everything is an object. Okay. So everything will be between open brace and close brace. So first you have to create open brace, close brace. Okay. Now let's create it here. Something called movies, an array. If you see, almost like the JSONs which you take also will be similar to this. Now inside this movies one, I'm creating it some different objects. Let me create it an object. Title, title, triple R, year, 2012. Sorry. Now, comma, title, something called Salar. Now, year, 2023. So, let me show you one more time the format. See the format, sir? An whole object. Inside this an array. The array is named as movies. And inside this array, you have two objects. And each object is having its own key value pairs where the title and the year are there. Any doubts here, sir? Now, let's go here. Let's write it here. JSON server. Already I installed JSON server, right? And what is the file name? db.json. db.json dash dash watch. Watch will make it automatically run every time. Okay. If you don't write watch also, it will work. Just JSON server db.json also. Okay. First, I will show you JSON server.db.json. Then if I run it, now can you see it here? It is running. My server started running. You don't need to do anything only. See where is my server running? Localhost 3000. Localhost 3000. On the 3000 movies, 3000 slash movies. If I go, see on this endpoint already it's created, an API created. Now if my application is going to this endpoint, the endpoint is slash movies. How many arrays you created, that many endpoints will be created, sir, by JSON server. Now actually in reality what you will do, you will write some Node.js and Express.js code. JSON server by default, it will only write the no, code for the API creation. Okay. Now here in this db.json, whatever the database thing you gave, it will create it an API. Now this API link, I will give it in my React application. Is it clear, ma? Control C, go here, go to CRUD application. Inside the CRUD application, now here CRUD application also run npm run dev. My CRUD, my front end is running in 5173. My back end is running in 3000. Okay. So this is my front end, that is my back end. Online, is it clear till now? Understand it slowly, ma. So you will get it in detail. Go here, go to your CRUD application, go to src, go to app, RAFCE, then here import dot slash app dot css. Till now, I hope everyone clear. Now, how do you call this particular API? How do you call it, sir? Sir, I am using Axios. You can do actually fetch also. It's up to you. Okay, I am going with Axios. Let me stop it running one more time. And here, npm install Axios. Okay. Now here it will install. In the meanwhile, I will create it one component named movies dot jsx. Now here RAFCE and here I will write it something like movies. So movies is printed in the app. Now I will go here in the movies. I will write it here. Import. No, not import. What is that? Import only, na? Import Axios from Axios. Now here I will write it this in the use effect. Inside the use effect, sir, you will write it here a callback function. Inside this, you will write it with a dependency of only one time. Here you will write it Axios dot get dot get. In the get, you will give the URL and you will get the value. Once you get the value, how do you deal? Dot then here movies const movies comma set movies equals to same thing. I am doing it already. We did it in routing also, the same thing, right or not? Okay. But this time I'm using our own library. That's it. The only difference. Use state empty array. And here movies, I am setting it here. Sir, if you are understanding it like when I'm doing it, that means you already got the grasp of React. Okay. Then I am taking it data. So inside the data, now set movies will be inside the data. Now anyway, first I will console. Instead of this all, let's console and see where the data is there. Console.log data. Now go here, go to here npm run dev. We are gonna use something called tailwind css also in this project. Earlier we used bootstrap, na? Okay, we are gonna use tailwind. Nothing it is printing because nothing I did for UI. So I will go to console. In this console, it should print the value. Use state is not defined. maybe use state is not imported, sir. Go here. Use state is not imported. Sometimes it will be automatically imported, sometimes not. See, I got the data. Inside the data, two movies are there. So inside the data, sir. So let's go here. Let me print them. Go here. Set movies. Data. Dot data. And always it will be inside the data only. Now here I'm gonna print them. How do you print the movies, sir? Movies unders you yeah yes you will write it movies dot map only, but only if movies are there, movies dot map should come. Okay, movies dot map. In this particular case, you will take it one value. Uh, let's take it M, open brace, close brace. Here you are gonna write each and every movie separately, sir. Let me take it here. A new div with the class name movie. Now inside this div, I'm gonna write it. Huh? Sorry. Now here I'm gonna print the titles. H2 M dot title. I printed two titles, ma Triple R and Salar. So those movies will come. Simple. So go here. Any doubts, sir? Any doubts while printing them? No. So now we will use some kind of style and we will give some kind of posters and all nicely. We will make it some 3-4 movies and then we'll do it one more time. Okay. So this is the reading operation. Just we created a dummy API and read the data. Dummy API and read the data. Okay. Now let's make the database somewhat nice and we'll read the data in somewhat better way. Now it is saying it like objects are not valid as React child. Found object with keys, title, ID. If you mean to render the collection, children use an array instead. Huh? Good. So M comma I, which is a index, key value, index I. This is हो गया. Now here, let's select some movies. One. So let's just go here. I'm gonna take it any file dummy. So go here. Link. The link is somewhat big. So let's go with something link smaller. Small link. Go here. Where is this one in DB? Right? So let's create it DB. Now here, pursuit of happiness. Sir, interesting point is this. Whenever you are changing it, will it be changed here? No. The only problem is you run it once. The backend will break it because the database is changing it. But you want the database to run it all the ways. Then you have what you will do. Then you have to write it instead of writing JSON server db.json. You will say JSON server db.json watch or W. If you write it watch or W, automatically it will start to run it always. It will automatically understand. Whenever you are changing it, it will only understand it, sir, something. Watch can be omitted. JSON server. Why? Dash dash watch. Okay. Here. Date. Okay. Things may be and may not be accurate. Okay. That's not, the data is not important. The link. You can see it here. The moment I'm changing it something, it is changing it in this database also because I put watch. Now here. The next one, sir. After this, let's go with Salar one. Let's take it here. Something poster. Let's go with the poster. And let's go with Triblar. Let's go with the poster. 3 हो गया. No, these images are not great. Very bad. I need some kind of small links. Okay. At least will the Wikipedia will give smaller link. Whatever comes data image, it is actually long. Or I will download it and I will keep it local images also. If let's try it. You can actually download and keep a local image, ma. Seriously, why this all are big images are coming? Seriously, let's not take it only. Let's go with the English movies only. Good. Thank you, whoever did this. So, poster. Sir, the names has to be consistent. Okay. If one object you keep it as poster, one object you keep it as image, that's not a good. Okay. It has to be consistent. Oh, here you made it. Okay. And let's take it one more. Control C. Next one. Go here. Good. Now go here to triple R. Okay, the first thing is over. Let's check it whether they are coming it or not. Go here, movies. Here I will say IMG SRC equals to uh, M dot poster. And here alt equals to M dot title. Height 100. Width 100. I'm just giving you dynamic one. You can change it just for seeing whether they are coming it or not. Paragraph year. Now m dot year. These are the things we did, ma. Okay. Now go here. Let's check it in my project. These three are coming correctly. Okay. So let's just refresh it once. All are coming perfectly. It's coming. Only the thing is they are coming in this particular structure because we are using it some default CSS, whatever we have it. I don't want that CSS. I want to use something called Tailwind. Go to the website named Tailwind. Tailwind CSS. Tailwind is similar to the Bootstrap, sir, where you will give the class names and it will come. But it's in a utility library. The difference between the this one and Bootstrap is actually component library. For the persons who used Bootstrap, actually earlier project we just used minimal, but in real time you can get the slider in Bootstrap, you can get the carousel, you can get the accordion, you can get model, you can get so many things. By default, some particular piece of code will be there. That is called component library. But Tailwind will not give any components. Tailwind will be like you only create everything whatever you wanted, including a button. For example, in Bootstrap, if you say BT and automatically it will become button. Okay, and automatically BT and primary one color thing will come. But Tailwind will not be like that. Everything has to be specific. Okay, how much width, how much height, how much thing, everything has to be specific. Okay, some people like it to be everything built by themselves. Some people like to be everything automated, ready made. Okay, the people who wanted everything to be themselves or more control to them, they will use Tailwind. Okay. Yeah. Now go here, click on get started. Now in the get started, first you have to install this two. First install npm install dash g. Go here, write it here, control C. Npm install dash d. D means dependency. Okay, it will be some dependency, only dev dependency, developing dependency, which is Tailwind CSS. You can check it in official website. It all will be there. I'm gonna follow exactly what is there in official website only. Tailwindcss.com official website is. If you go there, if you go to tailwindcss.com, sir, first thing get started will be there. If you click on the get started, you will get this all. Okay. Now second, init, init, npx tailwind css init. If you init the application, sir, you will get something called types config. See, Tailwind config. Can you see this? Tailwind config. What does it mean by config, sir? Config means set of rules which the Tailwind should follow. Whenever the Tailwind CSS is working on what rules the Tailwind will follow, those things were included in the Tailwind CSS config. Tailwind config. Okay. So I just created it. The second command. When you write it, this init command, Tailwind config will be created. Then next, copy this one and change it into this. Go here. If you are using JSX files, include here JSX also. So this means it will be applicable. It will be applicable to source, double asterisk, HTML, JS, and JSX. Okay. All these files, the Tailwind will be applicable, sir. Then next, copy this and go to the main index.css. Index.css, where main.css will be there, index.css. In this, paste it. Is it clear, sir? Now go here and then You don't need to do this tailwind, npx, tailwind, css and all. Okay, build. These are 4, 5 steps are not needed. These are build process. If you do 1, 2, 3 process, the tailwind will start in your application, sir. Okay, then you can go here and you can do whatever the tailwind application you wanna do. Start. Where is movies, Ray? Yeah. Huh. In the app CSS also. Let's remove everything. Okay, and let's see it here. Huh? Okay, I'm not running. Okay, now go here. Go to this. You can say it. Everything is here. Class name bg black, black. Okay, this all are tailwind css ma. Tailwind ka intelligence. If you wanted yourself suggestions, then you can go here and extension. You can write it here. Tailwind. Tailwind css intelligence, one extension will be there. If you write it, automatic suggestions will come. Is it clear till now? Any doubt, sir? Now, so let's go here. Let's check it here. Why it is not implemented? It gave this, right? Class name, grid, grid calls 3. Why the tailwind is not applied? Tailwind supports external CSS also, sir. Like usually no, tailwind the support external CSS means if external CSS files are there, tailwind will not do anything with that. But you cannot write it the tailwind out on external. You will write it on the class names only, tailwind. Now anyway in the index.css you wrote it. This index.css is included here. Then what is the problem here? Okay, we'll check with that. So this is the basic setup for tailwind and basic setup for uh, you know uh, uh, API, sir. So today's task, uh, you can set it up the CRUD and all later. Today I will give you one application task. Create a quiz app. Quiz app. Okay. Sir, I think you can take it the quiz using some other APIs. You have quiz APIs so many. I will give you one API also. For quiz, you can have quiz API. If I check it here, trivia. This trivia API will give you. If you go to the trivia API one, and you can actually create it your own thing, sir. Trivia DB. Trivia DB. If you go to this Trivia DB, open TDB, then if I wanted any questions API, you can create it, sir. Like see, browse. I wanted to get it in API. Click here API, and I wanted to get 10 questions of category books, and I will click on here generate API, and I will get it an API here. And this API will give me 10 questions using the books category. And each here, if you go to this endpoint, you will have it like each question and correct answer, right answer, and all. I wanted a nice quiz app, sir. Use your own things, do your own research, and make it a nice quiz app. Okay? Any doubt, sir? Include whatever the facilities you like it, and you can always check it in internet for the sources. Online, is it clear, ma? Till now, online, is everyone clear? Yeah. That's it for today, and thank you all. If doubts, you can mention it in group. Okay? Yeah. You can leave if no doubts.